open colour. So we have porpoising penguins. We'll have a bit of a chat about this one, interestingly enough. There's a couple of strong supporters for it, and the others are pretty close. So they need to be dragged up or dragged down either way. So the initial score was 8.7, which is pretty good. And I think to champion it this time, we will go with Chris.
Yeah, very, very well captured. I mean, this looks like a choreographed dance. It's just so perfect. I know we have, the luxury of amazing lenses and camera equipment these days, but it doesn't always fall so nicely and neatly as this, no matter how much we try. So the photographer's got really lucky here, that and what they've presented for me is perfection. Um, yeah, 9.1 I give it.
Okay, and Shah, at the other end of the scale, your score and your thoughts.
Right. I hit it at 8.2, and I'm rewarding the photographer here for the movement and the capture. I just feel that in terms of the category being open color, if that water was bright blue or the yellow of the beaks was brighter or something, it just didn't feel to me that it was a good champion for the category, which is why I didn't put it higher into where Chris is.
Okay, so let's go for Gerard.
Um, I, I listened to you all, and Shah, I think the fact that it is color and it's open, I think that's enough to make it a color shot. But I just think it's really well balanced, and there's enough heads popping out of the water and enough heads disappearing in the water to sort of balance the whole thing. And no offense to the front back penguin, but with those wrinkles on the front of him, he almost looks like he's a little blow up penguin that's popped out of the water as well. But I think it's very, very well exposed. And the things like the shutter speed is just the correct one to capture the water as it has. So I like it. I've given it a 9.1, and I hope you guys can come up.
Okay, thanks for that. And maybe write a reply, Chris. You have a little whack at it, and then we'll go on.
Oh, there's not much more I can say, really. I mean, it is what it is. It's, pretty simple capture, but just done to perfection.
Done. Let's rescore, please. Thank you for that. It's lifted it slightly to 8.8, which is a great score, and we'll accept that. And we'll move to the next image, which is called Kia Landing. Pretty even scoring across the panel. I think I'm going to accept that score at 8.64. Michael, maybe you can have a chat to the photographer.
Yeah, look, I gave this 8.7. I actually felt that it was a little bit desaturated. I mean, one of the things about this bird that we all rave about is this exceptional color. And I just feel as that that hasn't been shown quite enough. So I think a little bit more saturation would have lifted the score.
All right, thank you very much. And we will accept that score at 8.64. So next image, World Wide Web. Okay, I think we better have a chat about this one, even though you're all very, very close. So it'll be interesting to see which way it moves, but it's already on 8.86, so nearly 9. And we have super couple. Let's go. Give it to you, Jack. You can bring this one away. What your score is. We'll have a chat about it. What's your score and what's your thoughts? Okay, so I don't know if you heard me, mate, but you're all fairly close to each other, so you're on concurrent, but we're pretty close to a 9. So just have a little chat, and we're going to start with you, Jack.
Okay, yeah, so I'm on 9.1. Probably should have gone 9, should have gone higher and been braver because this little spider is so brave sitting inside this bit of technology. Just the metaphors here work really well. They're really strong. The mechanical nature of the spider almost looks like an android sort of thing and captured within this small space inside a printer or some sort of piece of equipment. Pretty amazing. That blue color, the sharpness where it needs to be, the narrow depth of field, so your eye goes to that spider. I thought it was really worthy of a gold here.
Okay, thank you for that. Gerard, what are your thoughts, mate?
I gave it an 8.5. I think the idea is really neat. Kind of distracted by the USB on the side, but so it sort of should have been balanced, I feel, a little bit more on the actual plug. But neat reflections in the eyes of the spider. I think it's a lovely shot though. I do think I think I might come up.
All
Depends.
right, cool. Michael, what are your thoughts, bud?
Yeah, I gave it 9.1. I'm definitely going up to 9.4 because Jackie can't.
No, I
But
don't
more
think
than
I
that,
can either.
I actually really like it. The
Mm.
reason is that it's a web. It's in a modern web, which is the chip. The reference to the left is telling us about the environment, to find the spider in here and to illuminate it and photograph the whole idea of it is original. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Being original takes it to gold for me, so I can't help myself but to go there.
Okay, just a reminder to you and Jackie, you can't lift your scores because you're already at the highest score. But Jackie, any final comments for you, mate?
Well, I think Mike said it all. That emotive because it's interesting, it's intriguing. That the space is perfect. That USB Mike already is alluded to that needs to be there to understand the narrative of what we're looking at, what kind of plug. And I can't change anything in here to make it better. I think it's in gold.
Well said. Let's rescore. Ah, tight asses. Um, well, it's lifted it to 8.98.
Oh,
That hasn't quite made it into the nines, but that's okay. And we'll have to accept that score. And we move to the next image. Frantic work. Thank you. Well done. Okay. We've ended up with an 8.54, which I'm going to accept because it's pretty even across the panel. And perhaps, Shah, you can make a comment about the photograph.
Yeah, the timing is everything with when you're photographing aircraft. The reason I didn't put this up any higher was that they've stopped the propellers on the helicopters, which really, when you've got an image like this, you really need to have that movement. Other than that, the color replication from the top helicopter to the monsoon buckets is quite outstanding, particularly against that smoky background. So well done to the photographer, but just yeah, watch your propellers.
Okay. We'll accept that score and we'll move on. And we have an image called Hungry Emperor Penguin Chick. Okay, thank you for that, judges. Gee, all the guys love fluffy, soft things, eh? All right, we have an initial score of 8.9, and I hate those hovering ones, so we're going to talk about it. You're all pretty damn close to each other, actually, apart from the lady that didn't like the soft, fluffy thing. So, Michael, you take it away, buddy.
Yeah, I gave this 9.1. Possibly should have gone higher. I actually really like the angle of shooting, getting down to the same height as the animals, and shooting the environment as well as the context of it here is just wonderful. The relationship of the two elements are just beautiful. It has to be gold for me because I can't see fault with it. It's emotive. It's strong color. It's everything's sort of correct, but it's not so correct. Well, it's not so original that it goes into a high gold, but it is gold.
Thank you, Michael. And Gerard, what do you think, mate?
I gave this a 9.1. I think this is a stunning shot, and the colors and everything just really jump out. Also with you got the softness around the focus is brilliant. When you look to the left and you look at just the plane along the penguin's feet, it really centers you in on there. And I think it's just beautiful. It's so sharp, it's just a gorgeous shot. And there's no over sharpening. There's nothing around the edges that I can see that's wrong. So I probably should have given it more, but I did a 9.1 and did you say you're accepting the score or are we
No,
going?
I did not, which is why we were talking about it.
Good. So I want everyone to come up. I can't come up any higher, I believe. So
No, you can't. So,
well, we can do it. We can do it.
yeah, we can do it. So, Chris, you're on the fence there, mate. You're on the score, but you're also on the fence. What's gonna make you jump to the other side of the fence, mate?
Yeah, so I didn't quite get to gold, but I just feel like I'm so spoilt for this kind of image. We see so much of these emperor penguins and doing their thing, and So yeah, it's just so seen and been done before. I mean, I admit that it's beautiful. That's what for me it's high eights, but not into gold because it lacks originality.
Fair enough. And so, Michael, maybe bring it home, bro.
Yeah, look, I've seen hundreds of penguins as well, but I haven't seen this shot before. And just because it's penguins on ice doesn't mean to say they're all the same. This is a superior capture to my imagination. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. We're on 8.9, so let's have a rescore and a rethink. Thank you for that. Well done. 9.02. We'll accept that. And we'll have the next image, which is called Among the Trees. Okay, so we have another interesting situation here. Some judges are 10 points away from each other, so we're going to have a talk about this, but it's virtually on the cusp of 9 at 8.96. And so, Michael, you strongly support the image. Let's start with you, buddy.
Yeah, I gave this art 9.5. I'm not normally into digital art, but this is a beautiful piece of digital art, and it takes my imagination into a whole new realm, which is why I think it's successful. It's a portal into another world. It's a dream. It's an idea, which is so much more than just a photograph.
Hmm.
Totally agree. Okay, at the other end of the scale is your erstwhile
Right. I guess it's me.
Jackie
Okay,
the Rank.
tell
Let's go.
me, tell me about this. All right, so I was on 8.5. Uh, I just wanted to keep going into the subject, which was the doorway, but it was also small in there, and I couldn't sort of see any resolve of what was through the door, besides another landscape that's quite different, and how that landscape is relating to this one that's out here. That is obviously a flipped image, and why couldn't that have just been taken me a bit further? I would have gone there straight up if I thought that if I felt that landscape on the outside that was not just so flipped and mirror-like, but perhaps I can feel that there's a really artistry has gone into this, and the photo montage techniques have worked really well. But but I just thought the power of the small brightness against the big darkness didn't quite get me there.
All right, Jackie, fair enough. That's all from the heart, and that's what it's all about. That's why you're here. Shah.
Um, I guess my approach to this image was a little bit different. I sort of saw it as a portal in from darkness into lightness. So whether it's a representation of where someone's state of mind is, but there is hope in the in there, at the end of the tunnel, if you like. The inverted hearts that has been created above that beautiful little triangular doorway sort of also suggests that everything is pointing up. So to me, it's sort of it has a symbolism of hope, and I feel that that's why I put this image into the gold category, because I just felt that it really portrayed that for me.
Okay, cool. And
Right.
yes, who's that? Chris?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I think we're all agreeing that this is stunning, but the only reason I haven't put it into gold is because we're being led right into that little archway quite beautifully, and I don't mind the dark light because that's controlling our eye and taking us in there. However, when you go in there, I'm finding the post-production lacking a little bit, particularly along those edges of the trunks right at the archway. They should be sharper. They're quite blurry. So if you look at the sharpness on the right side and the left side of the trunks, they're actually a lot sharper than what they are right there at the doorway. So that blurriness just for me is a little bit scruffy. But that's the only reason it hasn't gone to gold for me.
Oh, you scruffy bugger. All right. Michael, bring it home, mate. You only got to tip them over 0.04 of a point.
Yeah, the imagination is what's through the doorway. It's all about an idea. It's all about a portal to how you think, how you feel. It's not giving us answers. It's asking us questions. And as a cold, repetitive sort of environment that we're asked to walk through and out into a new, fresh, open environment, the warm versus the cold, the just the whole feeling of it is a superior communication, and it's a question to us. Can we cope with these ideas being expressed in this form? And I think it's very successful. It's not a halfway thing. It's not almost a gold. It's a solid gold for me because it asks questions of us, not it doesn't give us answers, which is a very, very sophisticated way of communicating photographically.
Okay, with all that, let's rescore. Well done, Michael. 9.12. Photographer will be very happy. Okay, thank you, judges. Good chat. And we're on to the next image, which is Frog Encounter. Well, I'll leave it to you guys. Actually, it's on 8.8, which is pretty good high score and pretty close to. I'll give Gerard a bit of a chance to talk to it. There's a couple in the nines, so where you go, Gerard?
Yes, I gave this a 9.1. I like the construction of this shot. I love the way that the branch is all bending around the photograph, and the greens that are in here. But that's a stunning shot of a frog, and he's looking straight at the camera. And again, very well exposed. There's nothing technically I can see wrong in that. But yeah, no, beautiful shot.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I was just concerned with the environment. It's a green and gold bell frog that doesn't live on this sort of branch. I have the feeling he's been put there. That's all. But as far as the photograph goes, it's a beautiful photograph. Yes.
Jesus Christ, but you know that much about frogs. Okay.
He does.
He does. Christopher, what do you got?
Yeah, well, having a feeling that it's been put there is an interesting one because I have a feeling one of the images earlier, the spider in the port and the USB port might have been put there too. But anyway, we're not meant to presume that or even think that might be the case unless we can see on zooming in that it is evident that it's been dropped in. But for me,
I
this.
didn't say dropped in, mate. I didn't.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Physically put there, maybe. Yeah.
Just dropped on the stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well, the thing about the stick, the twig, I mean, I gave this gold, so it tweaked into gold because for me there isn't a lot to say about it, so I'll keep this really short. What I've seen since looking at it is the echo of the twig actually in the face of the frog, which is adding appeal.
Okay, and Gerard, bring it home.
Yeah, regardless of whether it's supposed to be there or not, I think as a portrait, even the way that the frog's little hands are sitting there, like it's like, it is sitting there for a portrait rather than putting it on a chair or standing it up against a wall. It's been placed in in an environment that's more natural. So I just, again, very, very well exposed shot. The focus is it's right on point. And yeah, gorgeous. Love it.
Shane Jones is not on its side, but let's rescore anyway. Nearly, but not quite. 8.94, but well spoken. We'll accept that score. Next image, a king's profile. Okay, yeah, not going to let this happen either. Well, 8.96, so very nearly a 9. Let me have a look at this. So we've got some strong support for it that slipped into just above 9s. Let's start with you, Michael, because you are the lead.
Yeah, 9.3.
Yep.
Again, I just find this exceptional in terms of its detail. The gaze looking out of frame, I think, is appropriate. It leads us to think of or ask the question of what's it looking at. So it's not static. It feels like there is movement in there without showing movement. The idea of movement's there. I just think it's original. I haven't seen this before. Let's go for it.
Yep, thank you. And Jackie, in support of that?
Yeah, I'm in support 9.2. And I just love that little flyaway hair on the back of the line, this masculine lion's head. And the texture, the way that's been shown us with a little bit of wind blowing the facial hair away. Hey, that's a beautiful portrait, a wonderful portrait, yeah, in the gold range.
Thank you very much. Tend to agree. Let's rescore. Thank you very much, guys. We squeaked it into the 9s, which is great. 9.04. The king will be happy. Next image. Then we have the splendor of the American eagle. It's fairly even scoring across the panel. It's 8.8. We've got 2 and a 9, so we have a little chat. Shah, you can go for it.
Oh, thanks, Russell. The composition of this image is quite incredible. These would be very difficult birds to photograph, let alone find at times. The gaze of the eagle is just so intent and so intense. That's what gives it a very strong feeling for me. The attention to detail here and the sharpness is just incredible for a bird of this nature and this size in full flight. So that's why I've snuck it into a gold at 9.2.
Thank you for that. Let's have a think. Jackie, what are your thoughts?
So I was a bit tough on 8.3. Partly, I just felt it taken away by just the deep etched cut nature of why the bird is displayed in this way without it being in some sort of landscape or place that would take me further to relate to it. So I'm just relating to a cutout bird. And I don't think it, as I've zoomed in, I'm not sure that it was really pin sharp on the eye, on the bird, but a wonderful spread of wings, and there is a couple of spots in there quite in towards the middle of the bird on the feathers that could have been taken out. So some of those little things really just pull me down.
Okay, thank you. And also in support of the image, Michael.
Yeah, I gave it 9.1. I actually took it down to 9.1 because I really liked it as an image. The lack of environment has pulled it down to 9.1. I find that quite difficult.
Okay, thank you for that. So it's at 8.82, so we're pretty even across the board. So whatever, follow your hearts, follow your whatevers, really. Let's rescore. Okay, that's fair enough. It's pretty close to the original score. We'll accept that. Ode to Joy. Okay, this is probably quite important, actually, so we're going to talk about this one as well. It's already comfortably in the 9s, but there are quite a few of you who feel very strongly about it, and a couple of you who feel strong but not as strong. So we are going to talk about it. So it's 9.28, and we're going to begin the conversation with Michael.
I gave this 9.7. The main reason was originality. I have never seen a photograph like this before, ever. Color-wise, it's absolutely delicious in terms of the soft pastels of the background and then the deliberate color of the beak, which stands out from all those other color tones. And also the color in the wings. It's not white. It's actually got a very soft hue to it. The action, the frozen moment, the space that it's moving into, everything is absolutely perfect. So I had to go to high gold because there was nothing bringing me back down to low gold.
Thank you very much. And Shah, close to gold, but the lowest score at
8.8.
right.
Gosh, I was obviously being a bit off the money there. Yeah, thanks, Mike, for pointing out those various things. I think the bird does have a very ethereal quality. The wings look almost so perfect; they almost don't look real. They almost have that look that you get when you buy an umbrella that's made of that very fine, almost like a fabric. So the way that this has been captured is quite unique. I did feel that the feet were perhaps a little bit heavy and not perhaps as sharp as the wings when they're on a similar plane, which is perhaps what, if you're looking to be really, really nitpicky, that's what I was looking at. But sure, I can perhaps come up a little bit.
Thank you. It was a little bit nitpicky.
Jackie's nodding away there.
There was a little bit nitpicky, but that's all right.
Are you nodding because I was being nitpicky, or nodding because you're agreeing?
I'm nodding because I know what you're going to do anyway. So, Chris, you're next, mate.
Yeah, high gold for me. It's just dancing across the water. It's skipping across this water, and it's just captured perfectly, with that clipping of the water, like one of the earlier images was doing. It's just the timing of this capture is perfect. It's moving towards the light, so the space towards where it's moving is open, so it's perfectly cropped, and it's moving towards a colorful glow, which is actually repeated in the beak, that same sort of glow. Yeah, so the color palette, the hue is just gorgeous. So 95 for me.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah, I was at 9.5 as well, but I think I'll come up a few more points because I think it's the subtleness and the slow shutter speed of the wind going through those feathers that has made it so quite sublime. The heaviness of those feet, a beautiful difference in counterbalance to the flight of the white going through that diagonal. Really well done.
So, Michael, you have an opportunity to drag them up to your high levels, mate.
Yeah, I would have liked to have heard from everyone, but there you go. Because
Well, hang on. There's only one left, so let's do that then.
Yeah.
So that's Gerard. What would you think? You're pretty close to gold yourself.
Look, I'm very close to gold. I'm at 8.9, and I'm not going to succumb to peer pressure, but I've been looking at it closely and listening to you guys, but I am definitely coming up to gold. It is a beautiful shot. In fact, it makes me laugh. I think when I look at it, it's quite fun, and I think the composition's amazing too. As he's sort of running across the screen and also running to the sort of the warmer area of the shot as well. So it's not just a plain background we're looking at. We're looking at something that's just off camera that it looks like he's running to. So it could be a party. Who knows? So it's I'm coming up. So.
Yeah, and you're not succumbing, mate. You're just joining. So, Michael, we're talking it into sort of a fairly high level here. So, give it a go, bro.
Yeah, look, actually interesting that you should say it's running to a party or something. I've sort of got the feeling that it's running away from something because there's a slight glance over the shoulder, sort of what's coming from behind, and it's you've just added another beautiful element, Gerard. Thank you very much.
Okay, well said, everybody. I think we're all thinking fairly positively here. Let's rescore. That's a very, very worthwhile conversation. It's now, I think, our highest score at 9.58. So we're going to accept that. Well done. Thank you. And the next image is called the Kingfisher's Tail. Ooh. Okay, we're going to have a chat about this one as well. So we're sitting right on the fence, as it were, at 8.96. And we've got three people solidly into the golds, so I think we better have a chat. So, Jackie, you're going to champion this one, mate.
Yeah. So I'm on 9.3. Triptych seen in a beautiful, unusual way, with edge of frame conflict, a bird exiting the frame that just adds so much oomph to it. I love the narrative, where the birds come from and where it's going to against a background that is sublime in itself. I think it's a beautifully created. It's a montage, but it feels real to me as well. So I brought it right up there into the 90s.
Okay, we'll get rid of the naysayer straight away. Chris, what are you on, mate?
What was I on? Like 85 or something? Yeah,
84.
I was at the lower end of the scale. I'm really interested in people. There's three judges have gone to gold, so I want to hear more. I again love the triptych, the fact that each one of them are a different size, which is really interesting. So yeah, no, keen to move up. Really keen to hear more.
Okay, let's do that. Gerard.
Yeah, no, I've given this one a 9.2, and I think this is stunning. I think there's a lot of work gone into this, and my first initial thought was this was a triptych of three parts, the story, and it was a kingfisher, jumping off this flax. But actually, there are two different kingfishers in that shot, and so the triptych part is there's a trip of the whole thing. It's been sort of added on top. I mean, you could take those lines away and make it a single shot, but I think that's given it something a little bit different. And as you said, Chris, they're different size panels, which I think is quite intriguing as well. I think it sort of draws you across, and it's a beautiful shot of that kingfisher in the middle, and the pastels and the movement and everything in the background. We've got the slow shutter going on in the background, yet we've got this action frozen. Yeah, I think it's well worthy of being in the gold.
Good on you, boy. Okay, Shah, what's yours?
Everything that I had in my sort of repertoire here has already been said. I don't have anything extra to add.
Okay, Jackie, well, you can drag it in. Just remember, guys, it's 8.96 already.
Yeah. So
Jackie, bring it home,
this is
girl.
a really high level of craft and skill, not only in photographing that that wonderful central frame, which is made just a little bit brighter. We know it's the king shot to look at. The frame on the left pointing your eye to there and then exiting the frame. The creation of the image is what the photographer has brought to it, which is a huge amount of all those things: color, believability, story, narrative. It's in the golds. Yep.
Well done. Let's rescore. Well done, troops. 9.28. Very good. Okay, we'll accept that score. And we'll go next image. Okay, Equilegia. Okay, we're all pretty much in agreement here too, which has ended up in quite a lovely score. However, there's still room for movement, I do believe, possibly. And Jackie, that's up to you to make the move. What is your score? And, oh, by the way, the original score is 9.14.
9.1. Well, I scored at 9.7. Exquisite. Exquisite color, gesture of this flower, processing, color. There's nothing to be taken away from it. It's another piece of artwork that's a really high level of skill in not only posing the flower but lighting it, making it feel like a painting. It's glorious. I'm at 9.7. I want you to consider that.
Okay, well said. Dragging the chain, Michael.
Yeah, I'm coming up, but I'd just like to point out that the very tip of the flower at the bottom, it's sort of losing its form. It's slightly diluted in terms of its structure, and I'm not sure why. But anyway, I'm still coming up.
Good man. Shah.
Yeah, same reason that Jackie has it in the gold is the same as for me. It has an ethereal quality. It has a painterly effect. It almost has an animalistic quality. If you look at the shape of the main purple flower, it almost looks like a triffid or a whale, or it has just a very animalistic shape, which I think adds an extra dimension that just sort of elevates it just beyond the ordinary. I think it's actually quite extraordinary.
Okay, Jackie, we'll just bring it home with you. I think there's some room for some.
All right. I think that tip at the bottom left-hand corner is it being sort of, I've gone in, zoomed it in close. It is got detail in there, fine little details, but it stops your eye going there and it pushes your eye out to those arm-like anemic things that and Shah said it. It's almost like it's animal-like in its nature. The Triffid, love it. 9.7.
Well said. I think there's some room for some generosity of thought there, guys. Let's rescore. Thank you, guys. That's a great score, 9.36. We'll accept that. And we'll have a little judge swap around. Maybe, Mike, you can have a little rest, and Lynn, you can come back in. All right, Poppy Love. I think we better talk about this one as well. So it's already in nines, 9.14, but there's some strong support for it. So 3 people are solidly into gold, and Jackie, you're going to champion this one as well.
Okay, so I'd be delighted to because it's such a delightful photograph. And I did 9.6, so Shah, I'm a little bit higher than you. The individuals here, they're all characters, all definitely posed and photographed in a superior manner. The lighting, the clean background, everything's very deliberate. Right down to the change of the color of frame, which is really subtle but beautiful. The green at the bottom, and then the peach at the top. They're all got something wrong with them, these flowers mostly, and that's what's so great. That makes them real. Right down to the one with it's just posing, it's just about to come out, and it's a little bit of pink in the middle. It's very deliberate, and I think quite emotive, that part of it.
Well, like the flowers in the shot, you're all at different areas of bloom. So, Lynn, what's your thoughts there at 10 points difference to Jackie?
Yes, I agree with Jackie about the framing. I think it's beautiful and I am enjoying the image. I was just concerned that the pink flower is too close to the stem of the flower on the left when there's no need for it to be cramped like that. And we've seen some beautiful images today, so putting it up into gold, but I could move up a little.
Thank you. And Shah?
Yeah, I think this is a really modern and interesting interpretation of how the old way of painting flowers when people wanted to record them when they found them. So you would get the seed, the bud, the flower. and so on until it was in full bloom. And I think that this is just a really quirky, interesting interpretation of that with a modern twist. It shows the flower at various stages of its life cycle, and that's what I think is its strength. It's just quirky, it's fun, it's out there, and there's a lot of thought and deliberate intention gone into this image, which is why I'm just below Jackie at 9.4.
That's quality image. Chris, what are you thinking?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, so I was 9.2. It's so playful, it's so happy, it's so gay, isn't it? It's gorgeous. The different personalities of the flowers. I thought the frame, I thought about the frame and I thought maybe it's a little bit corny. And then I was thinking, oh, well, that's so in keeping with the playful nature of the image. So a tiny crop on the right, maybe just to balance. I just feel like there's a bit too much space on the right. So a tiny crop on the right is what kept it low gold for me.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Quick one.
Right. I think that pink flower and its closest to the edge of the frame creates a bit of tension there that does balance that space on the right hand side, Chris. I think if that were taken off, that my eye would go too much to this flower. But I think it's really quite deliberate. So I'm still there on the gold for sure.
Fully concur, Jackie. Okay, let's rescore and see how we go. Well done, guys. 9.26. We'll accept that. All these little decimals count. Okay, hanging out poolside. Right, I consider this a fence sitter as well, so it's on 8.96. We've got 3 in the 9s, so let's have a little quick chat about this. Gerard, take it away, mate.
8.96. Come on, guys, we can do this. This is an awesome shot. This is another one of really nice, sharp, beautifully coloured photographs. And the composition, the way he's hanging in there or trying to climb out or something. And Mike, maybe he's put in the wrong type of coloured bath, I don't know, but maybe he's trying to climb out of it. But it's just the lighting is gorgeous in this, and the colours are just outstanding. So I think it's well worthy of being well into the golds. So I'd like to see everyone bring their scores up.
Thank you, Gerard. Jackie,
Okay.
you're the furthest away, but you're not that far away, so
No.
let's hear what you got to say.
I'm on an 8.5, and the sharpness on its own is not doesn't make a gold. And this is a super sharp photograph for sure. There's a high level of skill in that, which is where I scored it that 8.5. Maybe I could come up to 8.8 or maybe higher, but I do see the vignette around this photograph. You know, it is a portrait, but I'm not really enjoying the structure that the little frog is hanging on to. But you know, he's very sharp. It's very sharp, lovely little pillar. But you have to bring more emotion to it than that, more than just hanging on. I'm hanging on, waiting. Here it comes.
Well, then let's maybe you can bring some emotion to that.
Oh, me.
Yeah, you.
Yes, well, I don't think it's been put there, that's for sure. I thought the watercolor was rather odd, but again, everybody says it's so sharp. I'm enjoying the little splash of water, the lower left. His eye is stunning, absolutely stunning. I'm quite happy for it to be, well, I gave it 9, so, you know, there I give it 9.1. I won't go lower. The front right leg is a little soft, which is distracting, so I won't be going much higher either. It's a good image.
And just very quickly, Chris, before we go back to Gerard.
Yeah, I think the watercolor is because it's slimy water that's been left. It's wonder it's not a bit greener. But you know, this capturing this moment that this frog is climbing out, it just has so much humor. Apart from just being a really great natural history document of a frog, it has humor as well. So it's a gold for me.
Thank you, Gerard.
Back to the sharpness again on this and the composition, and listening to what you've said, Jackie and Lynn. It's the slither, it's the shallow depth of field that we get. So we don't want both of the hands to be in focus. You know, we're just having that little line through, and it's catching that eye. So again, the mixture of colours and the green and the texture he's holding on to, I think, just makes it a gorgeous photograph.
Good retort. Let's go. Rescore, please. Thank you very much. Well done. We're in the nines. 9.08. We'll accept that.
Yes.
Brittany will be very happy. Okay, what do we got? Architectural blues. Well, there's a 10-point difference, so we'll talk about it for the fun of it, eh? So in support of the image, Chris, your score and my. Oh, by the way, the original score is 8.76.
Okay, I was 9.4. I'm just in love with, I know we're just meant to talk about one image at a time, but there's a bit of a series of these ones. For me, this one works the best. There are so many elements within this design that all add up to give us this final piece. And I started to look and wonder and think, well, if this wasn't there, would it be better? There's nothing that couldn't be more perfectly placed within this image to give such an incredible piece of design at the end of it. The composition, balance, I suppose, is just exquisite. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Gerard.
I gave this an 8.4. It doesn't really do a lot for me. I mean, we have had the other ones that's come through and before, and I'm not comparing it to the other ones. This is about the photograph on its own, but I think it's got a lot going on in it, and I can't quite get what we're supposed to be looking at. I mean, some beautiful patterns and diagonals and lines and things and tones, but I don't see anything in it.
Okay, thank you. Jackie.
Yeah, I'm on 9.3. And it's the engagement of seeing all the differences that holds the eye. The soft cloud to the hard edges of that one pillar there that's linking the left side to the right side. That's a real anchor, that spot. And just all the different choices, the choices of just that little bit of brown to counterbalance all those soft blues. It's somebody who's really well skilled in color, and I scored it 9.3 for that.
Okay, thank you. So we're all sort of, three of you are pretty close to the original score. So just a quick finish, Chris.
Oh, the fluffy clouds. Oh, God. There's the painter Magritte, which this reminds me of, and his paintings sell for millions. Yeah, no, it is what it is. For me, it's very solid gold.
Thank you. Rescore.
May I speak?
Yes, you may.
The thing that I found disconcerting with it was the little dark diagonals running across the blue stripes. When you look at them, they look as though they've all been touched up. Some have been blurred, some haven't. It's all a bit messy. And it really spoilt the image for me. I think it was fabulous if they'd just left those lines the way they originally had been, but they've tried to lighten some and darken some, and there's a little black speck, and they're all over the show. That's all.
Okay.
So you can see that workmanship in there. It's evident. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's rescore. That's cool. It's jumped up a little tiny bit at 8.8. We'll accept that and move on. And we have Down the Rabbit Hole. Well, you tried to spoil the party, but you didn't, because we've already got a 9, so that's great. And we're all hovering pretty much close to the 9. So it's a beautiful image, obviously. 4 of you fully agree on that. You're all in the 9, so I'm going to accept that score. To talk to the image for the photographer, Shah.
This is one of these images that sort of moves you in sort of an unusual way due to the detail, the color. Even though that it is cool and there's lots of movement in the background, it has one of those things where you want to eat me, but you shouldn't kind of feels to it, and that's what I found quite intriguing about it, because it was quite alluring. So congratulations to the photographer. Well done.
Well said. Thank you. We'll accept that score. Great score. 9. Next image is Fishing for Salmon. It's a bit like the fish, almost there, but not quite. 8.96 again. 3 people solidly into the gold, so might as well have a little chat about it. And let's go for Chris. You can champion this one.
Oh my giddy aunt, this is something else, isn't it? If there are judges not putting this in gold, I mean, we must be so spoilt um, for this kind of image. Maybe it's just it's a bit common and it's a bit easy no, it was surely not. Um, I don't know. There's not a lot I can say about this because it's just so perfect. Um, just not understanding that other judges aren't seeing it in the same way. Um, the perfection is just so on point.
Yep.
Captured the moment.
Sometimes perfection's hard to describe. So, at the other end of the scale, I guess, Jackie.
8.3. I just don't believe it. I know this happens and that there's probably 10 photographers behind me waiting to take the next shot or something like that. But the highlight on the fish from a flash, I can't see that coming out in the bear. The lighting on each element, they doesn't appear to be the same to me. So I have I have this unbelievability thing about me that's not believing that the shutter speed fast in the front, but then sort of slowish towards the back of the frame. There were some of those things. It just seemed to be button pushing, and I'm just going to listen to you guys and see where I come up.
Okay, because everyone else is pretty much in the same area. Lynn, you can have a little contribution if you like.
Yes, I've been up here and tried to photograph these bears catching salmon. It's be difficult. There might be 20 photographers standing on the bank, but it's not easy. I'm not sure, Jackie, but I think that little piece of light on the salmon is probably just reflection from water somewhere rather than flash.
Mhm.
I think it's a magic shot, and I believe it. Very believable. If you were going to fiddle with it and it would make it, make it up and try and create it, I think you'd do the water a different color and a whole lot of other things. But for me, it's very natural.
Thank you. You both the same score as Chris, so none of you can lift it. But just to say why you scored what you did, Shah.
Mainly for the reasons that has already been presented to us. I think, Jackie, your comment about the flash is quite interesting because if you zoom in on the bear's mouth, you can actually see some similar reflection in the gums of the bear itself. I think what's really interesting here is the look of defeat on the fish's face. It's staring down the barrel of imminent death, and it just sort of adds a little bit extra, which is why I've popped it into gold. But the detail is just unbelievable. But right into the bear's mouth, you can see he needs a new toothbrush for sure. But yeah, props to the photographer. It's a beautiful capture. Well done.
Before we go back to Chris, Gerard, you're at gold as well.
Yeah, I was sort of going to mention some of the things like the light. The light was great. I think the highlight on the fish just shows that it's wet and shiny, and yes, it's reflected in the bear's mouth. But I don't know what more you can do to this shot. I think it's composed really well. I don't think you can crop it any tighter. And the colors are beautiful in this. So yeah, I was very privileged to be able to judge this one and put it into the gold as well. So
Well said, Chris. Bring it home, bud.
Well, when I listen to Jackie, so what I'm getting is it's so perfect. Okay, it's unbelievable. So I find the way we're looking at this, or the way some people might be looking at this and seeing it as not real, a little bit unfair on the photographer. We can only judge. I don't know what the rules are, within the salon, but we can only presume that this is real and it hasn't been manipulated, well, in any way.
It doesn't matter. It's open color.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, it's perfection, and it's real. Mid gold, yeah, for me.
All right, let's rescore, guys. 8.96 original score. We haven't got your score yet, Chris, but we know what it's going to be.
Yeah, I accidentally actually pushed exit.
That's cool. So it's averaged out at 9.2 each and every one of you, which is the first time we've done that today. Well done. Thank you for that. The beer's happy, but the fish is not. All right, here we go. Last bright eyes. Lynn, I'll give you a chance, even though you're not the highest score, but I'm going to give you a chance to have a crack at it. It's scored 8.84. So two of you are into gold solidly, but Lynn, you can carry this one away.
Well, I will start by saying I hate spiders, but this is quite magnificent. And I can almost see the photographer reflected in the eyes. I like the little reflection underneath it. I love the color palette. I thought that if you're going to photograph a spider, this is the way to do it. So I would give it a gold.
Thank you. And Gerard?
I gave this one, what did I give this one? I gave this one a 9.3.
Yep.
Again, I just love the color in this. I love the focus on the face, and it's smiling. It's got a little nose and a mouth that you can see on this as well, and these piercing eyes. Yeah, I think the whole, when you sort of move away from the spider and you sort of follow the textures around it, it's almost like, I'm not too sure if it's water or what it is, but it's beautiful.
All right, thank you. We're going to rescore, guys. Very nearly, but not quite. 8.92, but nonetheless a very good score. We'll accept that. And I think we want to have a little judge swap. Who's had a good stint so far?
I have Rachel can come in if she likes.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, Gerard, swap out for your girl, mate. Turifatu, dotterel chick. Turifatu. Oh, let's have a chat about this one as well. It's close, 8.92. And Lynn, you're liking this image, so how about you have a little chat to the others?
I think this is perfection. These little chicks are about the size of a bumblebee, not much bigger. The lighting on this is superb, and I think it's one of the best dotterel chick photographs I've ever seen, and I've seen quite a lot. The little detail in the hair running around the undercarriage and around its tail, the light in its eye. I can't believe that you haven't all thrown this up into a gold. Placement of it, those rocks there, absolutely shining. So please come up.
Okay, thank you. Jackie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've just zoomed in on the little doctoral, and the back of the head. There's a couple of that little artifacts that have unfortunately been not stamped away. They're just little hairs that are sitting in the middle of the air. But I go at 8.6. I think I'll come up to maybe 8.8. But that partly those reasons I can't go into that 90s. I think maybe. I hear you, the difficulty, but we're about the small, tiniest little chick, and I'm taking all that on board. But there's a few little highlights in those stones that I don't mind now. They're bringing my eye around, and I do love the way the Star Wars little critter is walking through the landscape.
Yep, love's a good word. Rachel?
I have to remember what I scored. I think I scored at 8.8. Yeah, I did.
You did?
Scored
Yep.
at 8.8. Similar reasons to Jackie. I agree with everything Lynn said. They are tiny. It's a brilliant capture. The light's great. But I feel like there's something happening in the processing of the background that's resulted in those little aberrations that that's what's keeping it out of gold. Gold is near perfection for me. So
Thank you. And Chris?
Yeah, the depth of field. Wow, it's so shallow. And yet we've got that chick so sharp. So, how on point is that? And you can almost feel and touch and smell, the way the shallow depth of field often used in food gives you a sense of what it tastes like almost. I mean, that's what I'm loving about this, the depth of field here and the light. It's just, I haven't, unlike you, Lynn, I haven't seen many photographs of dotterel chicks. But this is just gorgeous. Yeah. So I've given it a low gold.
Thank you. Lynn, close it out.
I think the aberrations you talk about are minor, really. You've got to zoom right in to see it. So most of us don't do that. We're just enjoying the image for what it is. I am not quite sure why there's two little white flecks there. Separated, maybe the light didn't catch them all and there were longer hairs than the others, but I just think it's deserving of a gold, and I think the highlights and the little bokeh is beautiful on it. So I disagree about the highlights being a problem. They just, I think, bring it to life. So I would like to think you could really twist your arm and push it up a little bit more, please.
Well defended. Thank you, Lynn. Good comments. We'll rescore judges. It's on 8.92.
I'd be so happy if I took that.
You're going to have to buy your drink, Lynn. 8.96. Didn't quite make it. It's all right, though. A little bit more. Good shot. Next image. Beauty in a bubble. So fairly even scoring there. We're going to accept that score. And perhaps, Rachel, you can have a chat to the author.
Score?
Our score is 8.6. Everyone's pretty even, so I'm going to accept that. But just a comment for the photographer, if you would.
Yeah. So I think this is a beautiful capture. Really love the quite successful use of the technique with the little frozen elements coming through on the bubble. I would caution the photographer with regards to vibrance and saturation, because there are colours coming through in this that are out of gamut and they block up. And for me, that's what stopped it scoring higher.
Just can you explain that to me?
Okay, so can you see on the left-hand curve of the bubble,
Yes.
you can see three very clear green and bluish
Yep.
tinge, and then along the bottom and on the lower right-hand side of that bubble, those colours are starting to solidify, which is taking them outside of the of a normal gamut range, and it's just meaning that they look very blocky and unrealistic rather than being a gentle gradation.
So what's creating the gamut range?
It's usually oversaturation in those tones.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll accept that score. Soulful gaze. Soulful gaze. I'm happy with those scores. That's pretty average across the panel. I'll accept that, and we'll have a comment for the photographer from Jackie.
Yeah, just I just got it just on that 9, and just such a wonderful creature, beautifully lit. The light on the lip giving me a little bit of difference, a little bit of different texture, and the background, there's no distraction. So, really well done.
Thank you. I'll accept that score. The Carpenter's Daughter. 8.56, and we're all pretty much in agreement there across the panel. I'll accept that score. Rachel, maybe a comment for the photographer?
Shah might actually have more to contribute here because this is more along her.
Okay, let's do that. Go for it, Shah.
I think that the image is well presented. It's been well lit. The color, the skin tones are quite even, well throughout. It's just the shade areas where the skin has blocked up a little bit that I think that perhaps needs attention, sort of on the inside of the thigh, and at the base of the foot. But other than that, just a very nice soft capture. Perhaps a different background would have added a little bit more softness to it. It's quite harsh and quite cool. But other than that, beautiful image.
I think I just might add to that too, her nose is the closest to the source of the lighting, and it's the hot spot right on the end of her nose, which is the hottest part of the shot too. So just bringing that back a little bit might have helped it as well. Okay, we're going to accept that. Monday's Child. Okay, we're going to accept that score. It's even across the panel pretty much, but Lynn, you liked it more than anyone else. Perhaps you can have a chat to the photographer.
What did it get?
Sorry, beg your pardon, 8.48.
I thought it was beautifully lit and a charming photograph with the umbrella and the frills and the lace, the whole thing. I'm sure the family would love this. There wasn't much wrong with it that I could see. I thought it was well handled. The background was nicely muted, and well done to you.
Thank you very much.